where the legends play. Willie 1550 and 98.7. Hello there, I'm Kenny Graves, and on the phone with me right now, very excited about this conversation. She's a singer, songwriter, and performer extraordinaire. She's like a little rock and roll with a country soul. I read that on her social media. Her name is Savannah Rae. Miss Savannah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Very glad to have you on. I'm becoming a big fan of yours, man. If you hear her sing, you'll understand why I say that. But first off, Savannah, tell us about your beautiful dog, Camo.
Oh, man. I love Camo. So Camo is actually not my dog. My mom's best friend lives in Virginia on a beautiful farm over there. And we go and visit as much as we possibly can because, you know, crazy hustle and bustle of Nashville, sometimes we just want to get away. And Camo might be my favorite thing ever. Camo is the absolute best. And I always go over there and we just have a grand old time. And honestly, I kind of pass him off like he is my dog because he is literally the best. I always want to steal him like away from my mom's best friend. I always want to put him in the back seat. He's
adorable. But yeah, okay, I just assumed he was yours because I've seen him in a lot of pictures.
Yeah, that's exactly why. No, I post about him all the time. I love that dog.
Well, he's a popular boy, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
Right. And you were recently very busy in Nashville. How was the CRS?
Oh, CRS is so much fun. This is probably coming up on a few years here of going, and those 3 days are just an absolute blast. You know, all the networking and seeing different people that I've had the pleasure of meeting in the industry, and then, you know, meeting so many new people, which is so much fun. And there's a ton of concerts, different luncheons. It is an absolute blast. It is so tiring, but we have the greatest time there at CRS.
Yeah, it looked like you stayed pretty busy, but you were having a good time. I like that. Now, Miss Savannah, you're also known for your many cowboy hats. How many hats do you currently own, and do you have a favorite?
You know, strangely enough, I don't really have that many. I think I only have like 4 or 5. I have a tiny little hat wall, but I really only have 4 or 5. But there is one in particular that I love out of all of them, and it's a black Stetson. It's a black Stetson Skyline, and it is just my baby. I wear that probably 99% of the time. And I know people will always say, oh, it's straw season, oh, it's felt season. Yeah, I don't really go by that. I just wear literally my black felt hat all the time. It's my absolute favorite.
Well, you know, you're from Texas originally, a San Antonio girl. And down here, we really don't make a big issue about time and place. It's whichever hat you want to wear.
Exactly. And I see so many people that have commented on my social media like, hey, you know, it's straw season, right? I'm like, you know what? If I want to sweat, I'm going to sweat. Like, let me wear my black felt hat. It'll be fine. And, you know, also with the country rock thing, if I wear a straw hat, I'm like, well, it doesn't quite fit as well.
Doesn't go with the image. And you always have to put hashtag it's a Stetson, right?
Oh, yeah. Hashtag it's a Stetson. That's what they love to see. I work sometimes a little bit with them, so that's what they like to see.
Very cool. Well, let's get into your career. At what age did you start taking a serious interest in music?
Yeah, so, I mean, I probably give my love and appreciation of music to my parents. They introduced me to everything at such a young age, from pop to rock to country to, like, 16th century lute music. You name it, they let me listen to it.
Excellent.
And then they started taking me to concerts when I was around 11 years old. And I specifically remember going to an Evanescence concert, of all things. And the lead singer, her name is Amy Lee. She's incredible. Such a good vocalist. And I turned to my parents and said, you know, this is something that I want to do. I want to be just like her. And thankfully, my parents took me very seriously when I said that. And they enrolled me into vocal and guitar lessons. And I had my first stage show at 12 years old, full band, at a place called Sam's Burger Joint in San Antonio. And that kind of sealed the deal for me. I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
At what age did you start writing songs?
Ooh, I started writing, I would say that I've been writing all my life, but actual coherent music,
Yeah.
stuff that actually makes sense. I probably started writing at around the same age, 12 years old.
Okay, all right. So middle school age, all right. Well, with your writing today, because you've, of course, it's like anything, it grows and gets better as you get older and practice. Nowadays, do you like to schedule time to write, or do you like to wait for inspiration?
Oh, I mean, I would say both. I try to do everything. I try to, cover the gamut on that. I love just being open to, whatever comes my way. If it's 4 a.m., I'm like, all right, well, inspiration is striking. Let's do it, and I won't, go to bed until 6 a.m., something crazy like that. But I do try to schedule as many co-writes as I possibly can, because that's just one of my favorite things about being an artist is just, collaborating with other people. And I always say that 2 minds are better than 1, and sometimes 3 minds, depending on how many people are in the room. It's an absolute blast to be out here, especially in Nashville. Nashville is a huge co-writing town. And so always love getting in the room with other artists, other writers, other people, and seeing what we can come up with,
Well, Savannah, you shared the stage with some iconic names in music. Tell us about some of the folks you've been able to get involved with.
Yeah, so, I have, it is just mind-blowing to me, the amount of people that I have been able to work with. Like, for example, a song that I released not too long ago called Typical Texas Girl. I got to work with country music legend Pam Tillis on that.
Mm-hmm.
She's incredible, awesome. She really made the song what it is today, and I cannot thank her so much for just, it's so cool to be able to listen to people way back in the day when I was 12 years old growing up. And now just to meet people, not only to meet people, but to work with them, that blows my mind, and I'm so grateful and so lucky to be able to do that. And then, I've also shared the stage with different people like John Party. We had our first sold-out stadium show in October. That was awesome. Blew my mind. It was in El Paso. So it was really nice to, be home back in Texas. And then opening for people like Jason Aldean in Country Fest in Wisconsin, which that was such a blast. Probably one of our best shows of last year, which we were on the road for 10 months, so that says something.
Well, recently you paired up with Georgette Jones to do a cover of a Tammy Wynette classic. It was Tammy's personal favorite of her songs. Talk about that project with Georgette.
Yeah, so Georgette and that family, they are so nice, so welcoming. We worked with a mutual producer on that, and he kind of came up with the idea, hey, why don't you guys collaborate on this song? It was one of, like you said, one of Tammy's favorites, one of Georgette's favorites. And I was like, well, okay, set it up. Let's see what we can do. And thankfully, Georgette, she wanted to do it. She was so sweet about it. And we got into the studio, and we want to do a fun little twist on it, though. If you listen about maybe 45 seconds in, you'll see the twist. I sing a little bit in Spanish, which is, a really interesting, different take on that song. Mm-hmm. And Georgette was so excited at the fact that somebody was covering one of her mom's songs in Spanish, which I don't think had really been done before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody had really done that before. So she was like, wow, this is super unique. This is super new. This is going to bring, mom's music to a different type of audience. And so we were both just so incredibly excited to work together. And like I said, their whole family over there are just the sweetest. I loved being able to work with them.
Well, your latest awesome song is called All Hat. So tell us about that track.
So I wrote All Hat with Drew Womack, who on and off sings for the band Lone Star. I'm sure you know Lone Star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's also an incredible writer. And we just wanted to write about an experience that I had, talking to somebody that portrayed himself to be a cowboy, which in fact he was pretty much the complete opposite. So we wanted to put a fun little twist on that kind of quote / thing called "Oh, he was all hat, no cattle." And so I thought we did a really fun track with that. I think it was super maybe 90s, early 2000s kind of country, and it was such a fun track. And it's definitely one of my favorites to play at our live shows for sure.
Yeah, it's got a great vibe to it.
Thank you.
Just the other day, I saw you posted a clip from an upcoming song. Can you tell me about Dust Settles?
Yes. So that is probably one of my favorite songs that we have on the docket that are coming out, hopefully, fingers crossed, very soon. And it is, if you listen to it, you can probably tell that it's a lot more country rock. And there's a lot of guitars in it. It's pretty upbeat. And that is definitely something that I wanted to kind of go towards in my, musical journey, what I at least want my music to sound like sonically. I've done a lot of different stuff here and there, but what I really love is country music and rock music. And so to be able to mesh the two, we definitely took some time off at the beginning of this year because, like I said before, I was on the road for 10 months last year, which that's a pretty long time. So there wasn't a whole lot of room for writing. So I was like, okay, we're going to take a few months off of this year, get into the studio, get to writing, get, back to it. And we came up with some really, really fun songs, and Dust Settles is one of them. And I can't wait for that one to be out into the world because I feel like it's, starting this new journey of what I want my music to sound like.
Gotcha. And it has a great vibe to it, too. I enjoyed the sound of what you put up very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you've also been bringing some Spanglish back to country music, including the single Pushing Up Daisies. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so my name is Savannah Rae, but my last name is Garza. So I'm Mexican, grew up in San Antonio. That has always been, at least the Hispanic part of me has always been very prevalent in my life. And I've always wanted to bring at least a little bit of Spanglish, to kind of my sound, a little bit of Latin flair. And Pushing Up Daisies, I've had that song in my back pocket for years and years and years. And there wasn't a quite right enough time to bring it out. I've always loved it, but there wasn't a right time to put it out there into the world. Until I was like, I think I should really take a step into the Spanglish direction. I'm looking through my catalog of all the songs that we've had written, and Pushing Up Daisies or Chupando Gladiolas, it really stood out to me. Has an awesome Spanish guitar, accordion thing going on, and I was like, this is the one. This is the one that I think that we could, dip a toe in to this whole Latin side of country music that I feel like doesn't get enough love and doesn't get enough credit. And because honestly, there's not a whole lot of people doing it. Maybe where I'm from, San Antonio, but not so much in places like Nashville. So I was like, all right, well, let's see what we can do with it. And the response that I got with that was really, really incredible. That's definitely one of our favorites to play out on the road as well.
And it sets you apart from other artists, I think. It gives you a whole other side to your music.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I said, there's just not very many people doing it. Maybe a little bit in Texas because, Texas country music, you have a little bit of that Latin flair, but not so much in the rest of the states. So it's been really cool to see the response to that song.
All right. Here's a fun question for you, Savannah. Where were you at the first time you heard your music on the radio?
Ooh, okay. The first time I heard my music on the radio, which I wasn't told about, because most of the times you get told about, oh, we're going to play your song at this hour. But the first time that I heard my song on the radio was, I was in Lubbock. I was playing at Cook's Garage. And we were just driving. I think we were going to H-E-B. And I just heard it, and it was like, we have a new artist, Savannah Rae, with her song Typical Texas Girl. Here it is now. And me and my dad literally almost wrecked in the car. It was pretty funny. But we pulled over real quick and, took all of our videos, did the whole thing. And it was so cool to just be driving, minding my own business, and then hearing myself and my song on the radio. That's an awesome feeling. And honestly, there's nothing quite like it.
A milestone for any artist. Yes, of course.
Oh,
that's a good story.
Yeah.
Who was driving the van? Was it you or your dad?
It was my dad, thankfully, because if it was me, I don't know if I would have been able to keep my composure as well.
Understood.
So thankfully he was driving.
Well, good story. And you're now a bona fide cover girl. Now, you've been on the cover of Maverick Magazine and Popstar Magazine. Is that a big source of pride for you?
Oh, yeah. It's honestly one of the coolest things, to happen in my career thus far, just because Maverick Magazine, that's a UK-based magazine. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that my reach, extended that far this early in my career, but apparently it did. And, they are huge supporters of me over there in the UK. And to see, you know, my face on the cover of a magazine, that's the coolest thing ever. And then they sent me a couple of hard copies of it, too. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is physical, you know, this is tangible, something that I can hold. Mm-hmm. And my face is just all over it. And, you know, they gave me a whole spread, which was incredible. And Popstar magazine is actually an older magazine because I used to read it when I would go to the grocery stores. I'd be like, okay, Mom, you go get the food. I'm going to go see, you know, what's going on in pop culture. And I would always go read it in the grocery stores and just kind of, you know, dream about a day. Oh, I wonder what it would be like to be in this magazine. You know, I would read about people that I loved growing up. And then, you know, fast forward 10 years later, now I'm not only in the magazine, but on the front cover of it. Like, that was just wild to me. Still is very wild to me. Like, that's crazy to me.
Very surreal experience, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. 110%. Those are framers for sure. They're definitely going on. They're definitely going on my wall.
All right. Well, you were also a featured performer in the Hollywood Christmas Parade just a few months ago. How was that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. They let me sing a few songs, and then the whole parade route is so fun because they have so many people come down. Thousands and thousands of people go to see this parade in LA. And everybody was so nice. It was a fantastic experience. And then, you know, I would have people texting me from New York, and they're like, hey, we just saw you on our TV. This is so fun, which that was actually my first nationally broadcasted TV appearance. So it really, like, blew my mind. And then, you know, being able to sit on one of them cars going down Hollywood Boulevard, just kind of waving to people, it's a pretty wild moment. I kind of felt like the Queen of England for a little bit. But
did you have the wave down, you know, like the Queen?
I had the wave. I practiced it for a few days, too. I was like, okay, we're going to do this right.
Atta girl. Well, quick question, Savannah. Are you still active on Cameo? And if so, can you tell folks how that works?
Yes, I'm still active on Cameo. I get a bunch of requests all the time, and honestly, I get everything from, hey, can you sing me happy birthday, to, you know, just say hi, or how did you get started in the music industry? I just have a few questions I want to ask you, know, different stuff, and it's really cool to be able to connect with people that follow me on that kind of level because, you know, they tell me exactly what they want to hear from me, and I'm like, well, here you go. Here it is. So that's been really, really popular with people that follow me, which I love that app too, Cameo. It's a really cool thing.
It's very interactive with any artist, so you can go to cameo.com. They just search Savannah Rae. Yep. Just search Savannah Rae. Yep. All my social media is Savannah Rae, so I try to make it easy to find me. Gotcha. Well, you're also an ambassador for some amazing brands, including one that's right here in my community, literally 3 miles from this studio, Chuck Norris's Seaforce Water. His ranch is right across the highway from it. So,
yep.
Hey, any chance you're coming to town to do a photo shoot?
Man, I've been trying to get down there so much. You know, like I said, we were on the road 10 months out of the year. So my touring schedule's a bit wild. But I'm going to get down there ASAP because I love the Seaforce family. They have been such a huge supporter of me since day one. And all of them over there, like you said, I've been able to work with such incredible companies like Seaforce. I work with people like Boot Barn, Country Outfitter, Idlewind by Miranda Lambert.
Oh, yeah.
And a whole lot of different musical companies like Guitar Strings and, you know, guitar cases and all that fun stuff. So just the fact that these companies trust me enough to represent their product and their brand and everything, that means so much to me. And like I said, so many of them have been such huge supporters of me since day one. So they're honestly the best. I work with some incredible companies.
And you're now sponsored by Pickle Jar, which apparently is a very cool app that I need to get more involved with. Tell us about that.
Sure. Pickle Jar and I have been working together for a few years now. I was their first signed artist, so shout out to them for, again, believing in me since day one. And they're a really unique app that it will tell you all of my tour dates. It will tell you, you know, where I'm appearing next. You're able to, if you're a big fan or a big supporter, you know, you're able to tip money. It's essentially like a virtual tip jar, and all 100% of the proceeds go to the artist. So Pickle Jar doesn't take any money out of that. 100% of the proceeds go to the artist, which is really, really awesome because they're a huge artist. They're a huge artist company. And so they're working on a bunch of new features, though, too, is maybe like live streaming, seeing if we can host virtual concerts and stuff. So it's a very artist-based platform for artists to kind of help support us in our endeavors.
Well, as any music lover could use that, which includes me. So that will get downloaded onto my phone today.
Awesome.
Now you got to tell me real quick. This is just, I didn't have this as a note, but I did see it. How about that Les Paul you've got?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at her right now. Every so often I'll just catch a glimpse of her and be like, dang, that's a nice girl over there. I got her maybe 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. It had been my dream to get a ebony Les Paul for forever, and I finally got to do it. I worked with Gibson a little bit, and they're an amazing company as well. They've really supported me too. I have a couple J45s, and I got this Les Paul, but I can't. She's actually never been out on the road. She's been so new, kind of cooped up. I'm honestly a bit scared to take her out. Oh yeah. But one of these days, which probably coming up here soon, because we have a lot of tour dates on our schedule coming up. So still get brought out of the house. Eventually. Well,
she is a beauty. I just wanted to ask about her while I had you on. And you are a bona fide road warrior. You talked about being on the road 10 months last year. How many different states have you played shows in as of now?
Ooh, how many different states have I played shows in as of now? I'm coming up to our Continental 48. I think I have 4 more left. I got the Dakotas, both the Dakotas, and then Montana and Wyoming. Those are the only 4 that I have not played a show in yet. So we're coming up. We're getting there. So hopefully we can get the rest of those this year.
That is very impressive. Is there a favorite venue or event that you've played at? And you've done a lot.
I would say my favorite venue would be the show that I played with John Party. We played at the Southwest University Park. And like I said, that was our first sold-out stadium show. That was absolutely incredible, mind-boggling. It was huge. You know, that's a dream for any independent artist to play a show like that. Oh, yeah. And then I would say the best festival, and I brought this up earlier, because those are huge standout shows for us last year. The best festival that we played was Country Fest in Wisconsin, opening up for Jason Aldean, which was just a blast. The crowd was absolutely wild, but so much fun. You know, as an artist, you feed off of the crowd's energy. And so, you know, if they're having a great time, you're having a great time. And they were having a blast. So that was one of our favorite shows last year.
Glad to hear that. Well, outside of Nashville, Tennessee, let's take Nashville off the table. What's a venue that's on your bucket list to play?
Ooh, probably Red Rocks in Colorado.
That's the second person to tell me that. Red Rocks.
Yeah, it is beautiful over there. I've never played over there, but that is a bucket list place for me. And then, of course, you know, different Texas places that I grew up going to, like Green Hall. I want to play Floors. You know, I want to play certain areas of the rodeo, you know, San Antonio Rodeo, Houston Rodeo. Because I've played them before, but I want to play certain stages. Oh, yeah. You know. But, yeah, definitely places that I grew up going to back home. Whitewater, of course. Whitewater's huge. So, different places like that.
Okay. Is there anything you want to touch on I might have missed, Miss Savannah?
No, I mean, I think you pretty much covered all the bases. Thank you so much for doing such a deep dive on, you know, me and my music and all the stuff that we've been up to.
I wanted folks to get a chance to get a glimpse behind the curtain and get to know you a little bit, because country fans are loyal for life. Once they like you, they always like you. I wanted them to get to know you on a personal level. Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, other than that, I mean, just follow me on, you know, my little journey over here on social media or my website just to see where I'm playing next. That's it. You know, I always try to shout out my tour dates because through and through, I just love playing. That's my number one thing. Like, if I could be on the road 24/7, I totally would be. So I always try to urge people to come out to shows if I come to the area. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. And tell them about your homepage so they can keep up with you and your career.
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you use. It is at the Savannah Rae, and then thesavannahrae.com. I try to keep it simple. Try to keep it easy.
And for folks who may not be familiar with the spelling, run through that real quick.
Sure. So the THC Savannah Rae, Savannah as in Georgia, and RAE, and you got me.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got voice issues. I mean, playing a lot, and with everything blowing in up there where you're at in Tennessee, playing havoc on your vocal cords, right?
Oh, man. It is. We're going through it over here. It is wild. There is a thick layer of pollen all over our cars, and we're just all trying not to stay. We're just all trying to stay healthy up here, which is a lot easier said than done.
Well, my sympathies are with you. I use my voice every day as well. I don't like it when everything turns green outside from dust. That's not a good sign.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw, like I said, that layer of pollen over the cars, I knew that we were all in for it. And for the past about week and a half, every single vocalist that I know up here is some form or fashion of sick. So it's rough.
Well, I hope you get through it unscathed, and I hope you get back to that 100% vocal capacity, because you sure know how to use it, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
I appreciate you taking the time. And for the amazing Savannah Rae, I'm Kenny Graves on Willie 1550 and 98.7.